jumps up all of a sudden, as it always does. Hello. Waiting for all the comments to load. I can't see them yet. I hope everybody has had a nice day. It's Friday, yay. Hello. Ah, there we go. Slowly, slowly. Hey, Jody. Hey, Priscilla, Wendy. How are we all? Nice to see you all again on this Friday evening. As I let the comments and the numbers and everything else like that just come in, it always takes a second on this for some reason, I'm not sure. I will just remind you all, hello, Dahlia, Melanie, Wendy. No pregnancy, no legal, no health questions. Please feel free to comment more than once. Please don't smash the live feed every 3 comments because that's just frustrating. But yes, absolutely, please feel free to comment more than once. What's coming up? Where are we now? Oh, I'm in Central Coast Spiritual Church on Sunday for the first time, and that is at the CWA Hall in Long Jetty at 1:30. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I haven't done that church before, so that will be a mediumship demonstration, and I imagine an address. I should probably check with that, but always prepared to do that anyway. And then I believe we've got Sydney MBS, which is the 13th to the 16th of October. So yay, that's cool. Always enjoy MBS. Serena Jacobs is working on my stand with me, which is nice. Alright, so I'm going to catch up now with some comments. Let's get started. Priscilla, you asked first. How are we? How are we? How are we? Keep doing what you're doing. You're on a nice energy streak with yourself, and it might feel confusing at times, and it might feel like that you're not, or that you're questioning yourself a lot. But what I feel that you're actually doing is not questioning yourself. I feel like you're actually working through things. So I don't feel like you're actually getting stuck here. And again, I kind of want to emphasize it may actually feel like that, but it's not, because you're looking at things in a different way, and it might just feel a little bit different. So you might sort of come back and double check a little bit and things like that. And I don't feel that this is necessarily anything to do with like what I'm doing next week, what I'm doing next month, or anything else like that. It's like a really nice collective energy that belongs to you, you know, so who I am, how I think, how I feel about myself, the courage that I have presenting myself to challenges, to business, to friends, you know, just all that sort of stuff that's there. And I don't want to be wishy-washy with it, because it does. It just feels like you're learning to sit in your own skin a little bit more, and to be comfortable in your own shoes, and to, you know, kind of go, yeah, this is who I am, and I know that I'm a good person, and I'm going to be okay with that. So allow yourself to work through with it. As I said, like it does, it feels confusing and tumultuous is the 2 words that run through my head when I sort of sit back and try to reflect on what it feels like. And so that's okay, because take time and pay attention to how you feel through those processes as well, because that will teach you things about yourself as well, you know. Oh, when my back up against the wall, I notice that I do this. You know, and so what you'll be able to do in the future is when you start doing this, you'll be starting to go, I'm starting to feel threatened here, and I might not have realised that straight away. A really nice, beautiful self-awareness journey, obviously, abound. And so enjoy that, and I just want to share that with you. Yeah, reflect and look after yourself through the chaos, but enjoy the process. It's definitely leading you somewhere. So I hope that helps. All right. Hello. Hey, happy Friday. It is. I will do a couple from the top end here, and then I'll catch up with the comments, because I know it does go fast. May I have a card, please? Yes, absolutely. Amanda. Amanda, you're going to have some opportunities in relationships, and these are close relationships, and possibly even the like connection around a partner, and if there's not a partner there, a partner coming in, where you'll have just, I guess, like I'm trying not to say just an opportunity to like test your boundaries, because I get that's what it comes down to, but I feel like there's almost like moments of tension and perhaps conflict, for want of a better word, that arises up in these little, it's funny, I see you standing in the middle, and in my mind right now I'm seeing little flames just pop up. So it's not like, you know, we're engulfed in fire or anything else like that, but I know what the symbology is there, is trying to show me that there's just these little spot fires that are kind of occurring around you. And it's almost like it's like we're, you know, we put one out with a blanket, and the blanket sort of, you know, caught a little bit of a flame, so as we flick it backwards, it's putting a spot fire here behind us. And so changing the way that we're actually tackling the problems around us. And so again, I just feel like there is going to be opportunities in that to come back to where your boundaries are. Just take that on board and reflect about it, okay? If you keep coming back to cycles, points of tension, silly little arguments that are always the same, or, you know, sitting there at the end of the day and feeling disregarded or devalued a little bit and things like that, it's not that it's your fault or anything else, but when we have to have a look at ourselves honestly, we have to have a look at the boundaries that we've set, and if we're honest with ourselves, what we're actually enabling as well. And so, again, just take it on board, because I do feel like it's going to be a point of time, and when you sit in that energy there, it is time to just sort of sit back, reevaluate, and allow the value that you actually have match the value that you give yourself, okay? I'll pull you a card. I know that can sound a little bit cliche, but take it at its face value and for what it is, not for the airy-fairy bullshit that people can put to it. Okay, see? Yeah, so your cards basically reflect the same. So you've got the cycles card that's there. Beginnings and endings, they're in natural order, okay? Again, pay attention to what's going on around you and don't be afraid to step in and make changes. You've got the love card that's there, which talks about truth and happiness and desire, and I feel like that's just that beautiful little reminder. I've got 2 love cards in this deck, and this one is about the fact that you've done the work to be able to stand in your own truth, find your own happiness, and really relish in your own desires. Not have them compromised or second-guessed or, you know... yeah, sorry, I thought of something smart to us to say, but I better not. And nothing to do with you. But anyway, just stop all this. You've got the female card as well, which talks about the fact that the energy, the shifts that you want to see have to come from within, okay? That's exactly what it says there. If you can see, this has to come from within. You're not standing there and, you know, say for example, someone promises, you know, I'm going to change, I'm going to treat you better, the fact if we sit in the same behaviour and everything else like that, it doesn't shift, it doesn't change. We've got to actually make ourselves have the value that we're worth. Alright, so I hope all of that helps. Take it on board. It's funny, I was being cheeky in my head. You know what, I have to say it now so you can see it's playing on my mind. I'm such an honest person, it's ridiculous sometimes, but what happens sometimes, you know what, I'm obviously meant to say it for a reason as well. I've had this conversation several times, but sometimes what happens in relationships, and I don't necessarily want to put it to you specifically, Amanda, but on board there, I hear a lot of twin flame energy, and one of the reasons why I go twin flames like that with it and with a sarcastic draw is because so many times I've seen it be like this point of contention between a relationship with 2 people that doesn't work. It's like it clearly doesn't work, and it's like, oh no, but we're twin flames, we're meant to challenge each other, we're meant to have all of these problems, and it's like, no, you're not. You know, and it can be a point of comfort for some people and things like that. And so, again, not to connect it into your reading, Amanda, it was just like in my head I sarcastically went, well, like twin flame energy. And so, yeah, in my honesty, as I said, explain my theory. And take that on board, because absolutely I believe in soulmates. And soulmates aren't always about positive connections. They're about, you know, agreements of challenges and things like that with it as well. And yeah, I'm sure twin flames energy is there too. But when it's used to justify a relationship that's abusive, narcissistic, and absolutely makes you miserable, that's not right. And it's frustrating over the years how many times I've had to do that. Hey Lauren, I'm going to. And it's interesting, and the reason I kind of is because I generally wouldn't pull a card in reference to spirit. And as I sat and I read your question, I'm like, yeah, no, that's okay. That's okay. There's a lot of nice energy there that there's been a lot of nice energy there that I'm very happy to have in a conversation at some point. I want to just share that with you as well, okay? Alright, let's have a look and see. Nice. That's probably the nicest little spread I've done in a while too, actually. All the cards are nice and even. All right. So the main cards that you've pulled out there is the first card talks about change of luck. The energy shifting for the better. Okay, and I feel like this is all sorrow aside that may be connected as far as spirit goes. I actually feel this is linking back to you, and I feel like this is something that you were joyful about, and it's movement that you've been making. Okay, so very much drawn to like work, money, financial, that side of things with it. And look, there may very well be a dip around, and for various reasons, and that's okay. But it's definitely going to slide back up to it. Okay, don't be afraid, because you're not. When we create business, we're allowed to create business, and we're allowed to build a reputation for ourselves. And the energy that flows off that is something that we've worked for and something that we've earned. And so, be really mindful not to sit back in the back of ground and sort of feel like you're stepping on people's toes or taking over territory or this and that. Like, it's very different if you go into where someone's working and deliberately try to take their client base. But it's a very different thing when those people are coming into you and saying, hey, no, we'd like to engage your services. Can you please come to us? Okay. And so allow that energy to flow, and just, allow yourself to be proud and joyful with it. Okay. You've got the cycles energy that's there. Beginnings and endings are a natural order, and I actually feel a little bit of movement around a home with this. I'm curious to see if you guys are planning in the background either to sell and to move forward, or to purchase another. Okay, so you've got the crossroads card there, which talks about decisions and choices and directions, and I feel like with that right now it is about decisions to be joy and decisions to as I said, we've got different ways of sitting at the moment. Okay, and either way on that given day and in that moment is okay, honor feelings and things like that, but you've definitely got, I feel like that's just a prompting. Okay, so when I continue to sit with your cards, you just had the transformation, the improvement, but allowing yourself to make a commitment to move forward. You've got the male energy that sits there and just talks about the fact that when you don't call in on your strengths and you find yourself weak, you know that it sits in and makes you hit brick walls. And again, we're making in reference to what I first talked about with the business side of things. Okay, have a look at the bigger picture. Again, don't let outside energy sort of sway you. Allow yourself to let go of the things that hold you back. If you don't take a chance, nothing changes. If nothing changes, get out of your own head. There's a lot of worry and doubt around at the moment, and you've got the heartache card that sits there as well. But again, if I continue just to pull the cards there, it just says, be mindful not to deny yourself, and you'll find yourself in joy. Okay, so I hope all of that helps, Lauren. It's nice. I feel like that's even reflective attitude and things like that, but you've definitely got some nice energy brewing around your own ventures, so take that on board. Alright, I hope that helps. Alright, let me catch up to the comments. Let me just see what the time's at. What time's at? 8:40. Let me just stop the comments. Hey Chloe. I'm in a really dark headspace and would love some clarity. Pretty please, love and lights. It's funny. I had this conversation today, and I'll share it briefly. But it's frustrating sometimes how much our basic self-care gets underestimated in the way that we operate. Like we're talking about water specifically, we think, oh yeah, just stay hydrated. But if you look at your brain like this, as dehydrated, like your brain's meant to, it doesn't literally move around. I'm not, but trying to create a concept here, right? So your brain all hydrated, it has movement, all the neurons can communicate and everything's happy land. But when we're dehydrated, if you picture it all kind of sits like this, so, things are harder to communicate and and we get brain fog and we're dehydrated. It also has a really big effect on our energy level, our sense of motivation, all of that kind of stuff. And so, when you sit and you try to sort of emphasize with people about, listen, you need to drink more water, you can feel your body has not got enough. And they're like, yeah. It's like, no, you need to. And the value of it is so underestimated sometimes, hey. And even with things like food and stuff like that. And so I don't come in giving you that big lecture, Chloe. I sort of just share it in the moment while I can. But I do want to say to you, like, while we're sitting in that dark headspace, it is so easy to go, you know what, I don't feel like eating, or I feel like eating crap, or I don't feel like drinking water. And we lose the basic mechanics that makes our body function enough to actually bring us out of that headspace. And so it's like this self-perpetual motion, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, dark headspace, don't want to look after myself. Oh, not looking after myself, dark headspace. And it can cycle and make it a lot harder to shift. And so without even any psychic energy. You know, my first point of call that says that I've had to learn myself as well is make sure, even if you've got to drag it and have several cups of stuff around and, you know, whatever it is, it's there. But allow yourself to bring that energy back into space. I feel like this headspace that's sitting around you right now is actually kind of the universe tapping you on the shoulder and saying, listen, you know that what you're accepting for yourself right now isn't really what you want, okay? And it can be, you know, in relation to the way that we're treated with people. That's definitely what I want to connect it to, but that may be personal or business side, or it may actually be sitting on both, because that's where I'm drawn. And so it's not about sort of, you know, turning around and giving everyone a big FU or anything else like that, but sitting back and again realising, you know, okay, I'm here, this is what I'm not liking, this is what I want to change, how can I go about that? And allowing the fact that you've got even a ball in motion, bring you excitement, bring you enthusiasm, bring you hope, bring you gratitude and all of those kind of things, and then all of a sudden that light that when you look at it looks so freaking far away starts to look closer, you know. And that I always see it as a big well above me, you know. And that's the thing, you know, not everyone knows, but I have absolutely suffered significant anxiety and depression in my life, especially when I was younger. I was only talking about it just before there, agoraphobia and everything else like that, and so I get it. And in my own way I get it, I know we're all unique, but that's how I see it. I see it as a big well, and right up the top's the light, and there's nothing but freaking slimy walls, and I'm like, how the fuck am I supposed to get out of this? You know, but again, you put those basic things in place, and it definitely makes a big difference to even the way that we're able to think and perceive, okay? So take that on board. You can see I'm passionate and enthusiastic about that, but let me pull you a couple of cards. You are in a position to make choices. I don't feel like these choices can be fast and dramatic, okay, but I do feel like you can start to put those balls in motion, and giving yourself permission to actually do that as well is always a nice big thing. So again, when I pull your cards, you've got the bigger picture card. You know, long term, beyond self and beyond moments, and that's why I say to you, you know, putting the ball in motion. I don't feel like you can just click your fingers and go, yep, sweet, everything's all better, but there is certainly a peace that comes with knowing that you're putting balls in motion to actually be able to make changes and have choices to make those changes, okay? Healing, okay? Now, healing's a really big thing, like healing. Allow yourself to heal. Take time out. Look after yourself. Da, 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 da. Healing has so much to do with forgiveness, you know, and especially when that pain and that conflict has been caused by other people, and that struggle comes in two different ways. You know, you're kind of like, why should I forgive you? You know, you treat him like garbage, or you did this to me. You don't deserve forgiveness, and so therefore, when you don't forgive, you hold the resentment, you hold the anger towards that person. Meanwhile, they're probably going off on their merry little lives and not giving a rat's ass. You know, or another thing that happens as well is that you are finding a point where you can let this go and find peace and things like that, but then like family and friends feel the need to advocate for you. So, you know, have a look at it, especially like in the points of assault and things like that. You're coming to a point of peace, da, 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 but your mother or your sister or your best friend are like, oh, that person, I want to kill them, I'll never forgive them for what they did to you, how dare they, rah, rah, rah. And so you kind of feel like you've got to honour that energy there as opposed to your own sense of forgiveness, because, you know, you as a victim can't all of a sudden go, no, it's okay. Well, what the hell do you mean it's okay? It's not okay. It'll never be okay. Do you see all the energy that comes into like healing? It's such a profound thing that has such a simple definition sometimes, and I think that people miss that at times. And so really take an opportunity in a moment just to sit back and see where you're holding resentment and things like that. And it's about coming to a place of peace for yourself. Forgiveness isn't about saying that what that other person did or what that situation did was okay, but it's about saying I choose to no longer be a vessel to actually hold all the energy that brings me. You know, I want to find peace. You find your lessons in it, you find what you need from it, what you can salvage from it, and you allow yourself to find the peace, okay? It's a big thing, but we find our way. We do find our way. We do, slowly, okay? So then you've got the freedom card. Patience, self-love and determination, and they are three things there that I think that if you call on right now and really focus on, you're going to lift it out of your headspace, okay? So in the meantime, I just feel like putting this initiative in, allowing yourself to come to a point of excitement, giving yourself a breath, you know, treating yourself out to a nice day and allowing that energy to reinvigorate, will start to shift enough that you'll see, you know, a good improvement shortly, all right? If not, you always know to, you know, reach out and chat and things like that. So I hope that helps. Thank you for joining me. All right. Yeah, loneliness is a bitch. But you know what? Loneliness, I'd rather be lonely and alone than lonely in a room full of people. You know, and that's what happens when we don't honour ourselves, is we end up surrounded in a place that we don't ever want to be, and that's the worst kind of loneliness. Um, it means that we're still looking on finding our tribe, and which means that we're still working on finding our vibe. So, you know, let it be again a point of inspiration. Jenny McDonald, all the way from YouTube, because YouTube's so far away. But it's nice to see. Nice to see you. Thank you very much for joining me from YouTube this evening, and I would love to pull some cards for you. Jenny. You've got a really nice energy, Jenny. When I sit in there with you, I see flowers. Flowers. Which nice. Flowers. Imagine you sit down and had a reading and smell, I see flowers. Like, yeah. But it's nice. It's yeah. I actually smell them when I sit in there with you, and it's nice. It makes me feel good and refreshed and all that kind of energy that's there. When I pull cards for you, you've got the letting go card, which talks about releasing binds. And interestingly, as I pull your cards, you've got the transformation with my beautiful sunflowers on there and seeing improvements of self and situations. And so for me, actually, that's a really nice card. When I see this, for me, when I created that deck, releasing binds, you know, there's things that hold us back, silly fears, confidence, value, you know, it comes in many different shapes and forms for everybody. But that's what it's about. It's really kind of challenging ourselves and getting to know ourselves and taking that time where we are actually starting to break those barriers around us and seeing our transformation. Where is it? You know, all the way from a little seedling up to a big, beautiful sunflower blossoming into true self. Which absolutely is going to bring improvements of self and situations, which is awesome. So keep doing what you're doing. I always say that if self-awareness doesn't suck, you ain't doing it right. Okay, it's not meant to be this whole, oh yes, I'm getting to know myself, it's beautiful. We have this whole shadow side of ourselves, you know, and that's what self-awareness is getting to know the shadow side as well as the light side of ourselves. And I really feel like you're putting in some solid effort around doing that. So enjoy that. I actually, when I say that, I see in 12 months. What am I seeing in 12 months? Everything, okay. You're working towards a goal in the background, and it's a clicking into one thing. So say, it's interesting because it's linked to, I feel like there's movement, but I'm feeling like there's more choices and a sense of security around me, which tells me financial as well. And I see those two things, and it's quite clear. It's like 12 months. Okay, what's shifting? Everything. There's nice. You're putting in a lot of productive energy towards a goal. You think that it's changing one thing, but you're going to see it's going to have this really beautiful positive effect across many. So, for example, if it's towards working through a new job, and you're like, oh yeah, I get this job, excellent. It's actually going to be a lot more lucrative. And lucrativeness comes in different ways, but absolutely happy to connect financial to that than what you realise, and it's going to offer different choices or opportunities. There's new energy coming in and around you as well. I so feel like I'm changing locations, and I feel like this is like, I don't want to say necessarily unexpected, because I've thought about that in the past, but never actually thought it would happen. That's the kind of feel around it. And it's funny because I was just kind of pulling out, and they're like, no, pulling out. I always laugh when I say that, I shouldn't. I'm such a child. Sorry, someone encouraged me. Anyway, focus. But as opposed to pulling away from that energy that's there, I feel like you're actually like, wow, it's happening. You know what I mean? I see people around you. I just see you standing in like a lounge room or a dining room, and I can see people in and around you, and you can see, even with my silly crassness in my head, I'm able to come straight back to that point of vision. Okay, it's quite strong. So unexpected shifts and movements that are really, really positive for you. And I definitely sort of feel a location shift around it. It might not necessarily be like a huge logistical, but I definitely feel movement in space, okay? So I hope all of that helps. Enjoy. Oh my God, I'm such a child. And I will always be. It's, what's funny, I do have like a really, really absurdly crass sense of humour, and I enjoy that. And but sometimes, and not all the time, but sometimes it'll filter through really explicitly when I'm doing a reading as like a point of symbolism or something else like that. And oh my God, the things I've seen, or the fact that, Spirit knows I am really happy just to see anything. And yeah, I've seen some things. I always share it with the person that I'm sitting with. We have a giggle. But yeah, it's always funny. Got to work with the shadow. Absolutely. 100%. Yeah. You're very welcome. Very welcome. Alright, let me catch up with the comments. Sorry, I didn't realise how far behind I was. Beautiful. I can see a couple of you there, and I'll just say it gently, guys. I don't mean any disrespect by it, but I'm more than happy for you guys to comment more than once. But when you're commenting every 4 comments or so, it doesn't work, and it really kind of snaps the energy, and I'm just not drawn to read for those level of comments. So just comment once, comment 10 times type of thing, but just don't smash the feed down, because it's doesn't work. Slow them down far out, they move quickly sometimes. Alright, Christy. Good evening, may I have a bit of guidance on work? Yep, I feel like there's, I feel like there's people around you. For whatever reason, I feel I need to say that to continue my sentence, but I feel like there's a group of people around you, and I almost feel like there's a sense of like promises have been made, and I want to keep that in context, because I don't necessarily feel like these are promises that have been made to you directly, but like across the board of the business. So, if I keep it into the energy that's in my head, we might be saying, hey, listen, in 12 months' time, you guys are going to get a new office that's moving here, the amenities are going to be improved, and we're taking on this new sort of bit of work here, and and all this is going to happen, and these improvements are going to come because of it. And I feel like delays and changes have just sort of been rolling in the background of it. So again, take that in the context in which it fits, but I feel like that's sort of the junctions that I'm sitting with around with it. And I feel like that's all starting to come into play and starting to come into fruition, but I wonder if it's a little bit, too little too late, as they say. Like it feels like there's been a lot of energy kind of killed off here, and I feel like that's come also in the way of like, not necessarily politics, but people. And it's interesting because when I'm talking about structure and infrastructure, I get a real sort of a higher level of management feel around it. And it's not about male-female energy, that's not what I'm trying to imply at all, but I just see more men around that level. As soon as I start talking about my own energy and the way that I'm feeling within the place, I'm seeing female. I would say middle age, and I don't want to necessarily say even the higher end of middle age, because we all define that differently, but I would say definitely probably like late 40s into 50s, and that's not middle age. I can't settle with that definition at that age, but anyway, but that's what I see that's there, and so I just feel like there's a lot of energy that's, again, just where I'm feeling the lack of value as well within all of this sort of chaos that's ensuing about. So I've been feeling like making changes. Should you choose to stay where you are, I do feel like things smooth out, and I'm happy and everything else like that. If I move forward in 12 months' time, there's a really nice settled energy around. But again, I just wonder if it's too little too late. If you do have that fishing rod out into the ocean that's there, okay, and it's almost like I want to say I've got 3 lines out, so a few lines out. I want to say to you that at least 2 of those lines come back, and I'm curious if there's an offer on the table. If there's not an offer on the table right now, there is one that'll come in, okay. I don't want to say that if we're thinking about making shifts over, that it's the wrong choice to make, but just make sure we're not cutting our nose to spite our face, okay? Like if we're, several months off of 10 years service leave or blah, 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 here, I just feel like if there's a little bit more patience there's something to hold before we jump over. So again, just weigh up the 2 balances between. Yeah, and it's funny, I pulled the cards back in to pull you a couple of cards, but you've got the improvement card that came out before. So, see, again, balance. Just find your balance that's there, but there's a change of luck and you're moving forward. Things are shifting for the better. So, again, so either way, as I said, don't cut your nose off, spot your face, because there's settled energy here, and you'll be fine if you move over as well, but just make sure that we're not moving too soon on this side of things, okay? Including, even if it's into house, I want to say, alright? So if you're being offered a job or a sparkly little thing that's over here, just make sure it's actually going to pay off as well as what you think it is, and that it's not worth actually sitting here, you know, and value comes in numerous things of time and money as well. So just make sure we look at it all aspects, not just what's coming into our hand. All right, so I hope that helps. All right. You know, it sits quietly in the background while I'm here. My book. 33 Ways How to Self-Sabotage and Make Life Harder Than It Needs to Be. It's nice. So I didn't write it to necessarily become a bestseller. I just wrote it so that I could move on with the rest of my books, because I wrote this book so long ago. Yeah, okay. Sorry, getting messages on the side there. And yeah, so anyway, that sits on Amazon. It's like $11 and it's good. It's a nice sarcastic way of looking at the world. Comments, let me catch up. Oh, thank you. Your book was amazing. Maureen Hopkins. Jody, I will grab you as well. I've caught your name a couple of times now. Let me pull some cards for you afterwards as well. But let me just focus on Maureen for a moment. Maureen. As I pull cards for Maureen, let me just share out as well. I do not check. I can't see whether you've shared my post, whether you like my page or anything else like that. I read to who I'm drawn to. But as common courtesy, I absolutely always appreciate it if you do like my page. If you see fit, I absolutely always enjoy a positive review. But even just like a thumbs up or a heart on my live feed as we go helps with my algorithm. So yeah, it's nice. I am a small business essentially at the end of the day. At the end of the day, in my head I'm correcting myself. It's like, no, you're not. You're a psychic first, and you know what I am. Just probably why I'm not a millionaire. But anyway, you get my point. So let me move on and focus on Maureen. Brilliant salesperson I am, you can see. All right, Maureen. I see when I focus on you, Maureen, I keep seeing the ocean, and that's at night time, and I'm on it. I'm curious if you're going for like a cruise or have been recently. I don't see myself on the ship or anything else like that. For all essential purposes, I'm sitting on the water, but I'm not wet. But anyway, I see that. I'm just curious if it has any relevance as I'm tuning in for you. So when I pull your cards, you've got the sunset card, and it talks about that tomorrow is a new day. And I'm not sure if you've joined me before or not, Maureen, but for me, tomorrow is a new day, and so it talks about a phase out, you know. I'm sure some of you have heard, but bear with me. I always refer this to like a day out at the Easter show is what I always come back to. But, you know, you go there, you've had a great day, you ride the rides, you eat the candy, floss, whatever it's called, blah, 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 you know, and at the end of the day, your feet are sore, you're tired, you're probably a bit sunburnt, your guts probably feel like crap and you won't shit for a week. But you've had a really fun time, and so you don't sit back and kind of go, I wish I never did that. You kind of sit back and go, you know what, that was really great. You know, there are ups and downs and all arounds. I've had my fun, but I'm ready to move on. And it's literally, you know, a really big shift in energy that comes through. And so it's about letting something go. It's about, you know, the new day coming in and allowing that sun to shine on the next day, and realising that, you know, even after a big day of the Easter show, you know, 2 litres of water that night, and, you know, hopefully you are pooing the next morning. Again, funny analogy to use there, but, you know, eating crap food pulls your body along. You've got the healing card that comes in next with it, okay? And so as that sunset energy comes in, as that new phase comes in, as we were talking about before, healing is about so much more than just saying, okay, well, I'll be okay and I'll get over it, because it's not. It has so much more energy into it. And so you've got the intentions card, and it talks about just being mindful where yours lays. And again, a conversation that I had today, which I guess shouldn't surprise me at this point in time, but, you know, intentions, where energy goes, energy flows. And so as big shifts and changes come through and things like that, you know, we might be worried about, what's going to happen, to me, or what's going to happen with my work, what's going to happen with my home, am I going to be able to do this, am I going to be able to do that, or just, a million different possibilities of questions, and within that we tend to sort of allow for and think about the worst case scenario, what if this happens, what if I can't do this, and da 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 da. And so literally what we're doing is we're throwing all of our energy into the worst possible outcome, and absolutely as adults and sensible, we've got to take in all risk factors and assess the all possible outcomes, but it's what we choose to focus on ultimately in the end that kind of comes into fruition. And so absolutely assess the risks, be sensible about it, but then allow yourself to start enjoying all the possibilities. Like, what if that worst case scenario doesn't come through? What if the best case scenario happens? How's that feel? What does that look like? How does that sit in your body? How much time are you actually spending focusing on that? And so it's not a suggestion of trying to imply that your energy's focused wrong, or you're not thinking things right. It's not like that. It's literally just about giving yourself the opportunity to sit back and see where your worries and concerns are laying, and how much energy is being put into those versus how much energy is being put into the positive energy that can be put there. Okay, where energy goes, energy flows. It does. It is such a it does. I don't need to go into an over explanation of it, but it literally does. Think about manifestation and everything else like that, okay? Where energy is thrown, energy will fly. So take that all on board. You've got some shifts and changes coming up. I do feel like there's a bit of a heavy energy that's probably going to sit around you for, look, I do want to say several months. I don't necessarily want to say that you're sitting miserable for several months, but I just feel like the shifts and the spring in the steps and all of those kind of things are just taking a little bit of time to come back through. But it is time, you know it and you feel it. This energy has to come from, your strength. You've got the male card with that one. So just being mindful of your health. Health talks about emotional, mental, physical, all of those kind of aspects of it, okay? But there's a transformation into it when we allow ourselves to be positive, confront our fears. There is a completion that comes in. You've got both the completion cards, you know what I mean? But stay connected to yourself and realise that in life shit happens. It's not necessarily your fault or something that you've done wrong. Just sometimes in life shit happens, okay? So what you need to focus on the most is having some patience, being mindful of the external conflict and giving yourself permission to move forward and not denying yourself, okay? Beware of sheeps in wolf clothing as well. Just trust your intuition as you go along. There's big shifts all the way around for you, but gee whiz, they can be really nice and positive if you allow them to be. Alright, so take that all on board. I hope that helps, and thank you for joining me. All right. I am absolutely happy to read for people. If I cannot say your name, I'm drawn to energy, not names. But unfortunately, I can only read English, and so if you are able to translate your comments into English, then I would be able to read them. My apologies. Leanne. I want to say to you, Leanne, if you've got a direct line that's sitting there with, I see product sitting on a shelf, okay, and that's representing to me where it is now, and then I see it sitting on several more shelves, and I'm curious to see if there's like a, I don't want to say department store, that's the word that's in my head, but I know we're talking about like either maybe like a small chain store or, several stores within an area or a location that stock over, and so I feel like this has been something that's ticking in the background of the motion. I feel like what needs to sit there with it more, like I'm more drawn to like paperwork, negotiation, public liability kind of aspects and things like that, as opposed to the actual product and relationships and all that sort of stuff. So I just feel that as I'm tuning in with you, so I want to share that. But let me pull you a couple of cards. Yeah. It's interesting, even as I pull your cards, you've got the shit happens card, stand strongs, and a completions card that's there. And I actually want to split that. I want to say to you the same thing. Like, if you find that you're running into, paperwork and silly little, like, I'm going to say legal implications. I'm not feeling trouble per se, but that's the word that's in my head. We will move through. It's like technicalities, okay? Just little things that probably big things, really. But, fiddly things, not impossible things that we just need to work through. and take that in the energy which is there, because as I put them down as well, there's a real emotional energy to it, and I was actually drawn quite specifically to a female energy, and I'm feeling like there's almost, and I'm curious to see if the card comes out. I may not read the whole spread out, but I'll just, yeah, I knew it. When I sit there and I pull your cards with it, you've got this energy around. Betrayal is the word that's there, and that's exactly the card that I was looking for, the sheep in wolf's clothing, okay? So I don't need to blow it out of context, I don't need to talk about deception and blah, 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 but I do want to say to you that I feel like there's someone around you that's had a commitment to you with value for either a substantial thing for a short period of time, or, you know, a moderate thing for a long period of time. It's kind of like that stretchy energy that's there. And I just felt there's a letdown or things like that. And I just kind of want to share within that you've known and felt this energy for a while. Like, it's not the first time that things have felt out of sync and out of character here. And so I kind of just feel like it's about honouring self and things like that, and not to... You've had a lot of big changes over the last, say, 3 or 4 years, okay? Those bloody little bugs flying. And with that, people have their own perceptions, their own energies, their own ways of looking at achievements, and, you know, da-da-da-da-da. So, as I said, I don't feel like this is a new energy that's there. It's almost like there's a few things that have petered out. And as you move and transition to this next phase of life, you know, perhaps a little bit of heartfelt energy about letting go of things and accepting that, you know, there are going to be some shifts and change. And when I talk about accepting, you get what I'm talking about. Overall, what I am trying to say, without gibbering on that's there, is don't let your heart be broken over things that are moving away from you, okay? It's a shift in energy, and it's a nice positive thing. And I think, as I said, in reflection, you'll see that at times this isn't like a shock. It's energy that's been present before. Enjoy it. You're moving forward. But again, especially on the business side of things, don't be afraid to take a chance. Those little ideas and dreams that you've had of actually being big, it's like, come on, you know, if you've done all this work, everything's in place, you know you can do this, don't be afraid to take a step forward. Alright, so I hope all of that helps. Alright, let me give the cards a bit of a shuffle. And get rid of my banner. So just giving the cards a bit of a shuffle, guys. As I sit as well, so it is school holidays, and I am away next week. Looking forward to that, just for a couple of days. But you'll find if you're trying to book a reading, you've got probably a few day wait. That is there, but that is all good. You'll find that the readings and everything else like that are available online. Sydney MBS is opening up 13th to the 16th of October. That's always a massive event. Very much looking forward to that one. You'll find me pretty much in my usual spot. Had to move away from the diffuser lady, but no reflection on her whatsoever. Her products are absolutely beautiful and amazing. Just my silly allergies and things like that. So you may find me just a little bit more up or down the aisle. Other than that, though, looking forward to reading for everybody at Sydney MBS. I'm not necessarily opening pre-bookings, but you are welcome to make a booking with me if you like. I know a few of you like to do that, so feel free to. Just contact me. I'm Central Coast Church at Long Jetty at the CWA Hall this Sunday at 1:30 for the first time. I'm looking forward to doing that as well. So guys, as I continue to read for another 15 minutes, no pregnancy, no legal, no health questions. Always appreciate a thumbs up or a heart on the live feed. And just as a common courtesy, if you're asking for a reading, you're asking me for my energy to give you, I'm more than happy to do that if I'm drawn to you. As a common courtesy, please like my Facebook page. That's what I ask in return as an energy exchange. Pardon me, I can't see if you've done it or not, so it's on you, it's all good. And it's not going to break the bank if you don't at the end of the day. Those that are here were meant to be here. Alright. I feel like you are ready to continue, so let me do some. Interesting, yeah. I always like to pull some cards sometimes and just see what the group energy is that's there, and it was focused on like bigger picture and being patient, and it is time. It's always like a little bit of a, what do they call it, like a group energy, you know what I mean? Alright, let me catch up with the comments. Oh my god. Memphis Samantha Marie, just in case you can't hear me. I'm allowed to swear on here because it's my live feed. Fuck off. Seriously. No one wants your skanky ass, fake ass readings. Go away. Memphis Samantha Marie, I'll deal with her afterwards. Oh, maybe I actually think I can block them off here, can't I? Delete comment, block user. See ya. Peter Punk. There we go. They don't necessarily bother me, but it's annoying. They're like every comment I can see right now. Boom, 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 boom. Collective, thank you very kindly. I've been saying collaborative all day yesterday because I had to silence you. Brooke, I'd love to hear what's coming up for me, please, Liz. What's coming up for you, Brooke? What's coming up for you, Brooke? You know, it's I'm just kind of scanning across the summer actually as I sit here shuffling cards. It's nice. There's an energy that shifts around you. I can feel there's a positive change in relationships. So if you're waiting for a romantic relationship to come in, I feel like this isn't like an unknown energy, but it's either you're already in a relationship or you're talking to someone or hoping that, you know, you've got a crush on someone. That energy is sitting there nicely. And so even if it is a current relationship, I want to say improvements around with that, okay? In the background of your work, it's almost like I want to say cruise out, take the summer to have a think about what it is that you want to do. And I know you're a hard worker. I can feel that energy, so I don't want to imply anything different when I say have a think about what it is that you really want to do and if you're putting enough time and energy into actually doing that. Because I feel like at once upon a time, you had to kind of, you know, do work, do your life, you know what I mean? We don't always have opportunities to sit back and go, oh yeah, I'll work and I'll study and I'll do this and I'll do that. Sometimes we just got to do what we got to do, and I feel like that's where you're at or were at. And as you've, you know, allowed all these improvements and sort of stuff like that to come into your life, I think you're kind of missing gaps of opportunity there just because you didn't realise, oh, you know, I can actually manage this if I want to. And again, I want to be really like clear that I'm not trying to imply that you're ignorant or anything else within that energy, but just more so just kind of living life and moving forward and not realizing that we are moving forward and getting into this point without actually collecting just a little bit more you know, intellect and our own energy along the way, not necessarily possessions and wealth and things like that, but you know, the things and the tools that we bring into ourselves that allow us to be where we want to be. And I just want to give a nice really big validation that you're ready to do that. Dream a little bit bigger, push yourself a little bit harder. There's actually a nice strong energy financially around you, but I feel like when I say I don't feel like it comes in, I actually get the number 13 in my head. So, you know, it's always like, I don't want to say 13 years, but I will because that's what I've got. I don't want to imply that you broke through that 13 years by any yards of the stick. There's a nice financial progression through it, but I feel like if you start putting in the bits and pieces now, as I look forward, and as I said, that's the number I've given, I'm seeing a lot of financial choice around you. So just don't be afraid to dream big, okay? I just want to give you that prompting there. If you've been, you know, oh, I wonder if I could, take this as that validation that yes, you can. Yes, so you are secure in your choices, okay? You are secure in your choices and in life, as it says. Absolutely, it can be frustrating. It's like, oh, what the, you know, what does that look like? What do I need to do? And the extra effort and time and everything else like that. But taking a moment to actually sit back and see, you know, what do I want a little bit more of? I'm ready to take on a little bit more here. As I said, it has this beautiful energy which brings freedom, release, self-love. You know, it's that dove out of the hands, you know. Yeah, don't be afraid to challenge yourself a little bit more. And again, I say that respectfully because I know that you're a hard worker and everything else like that, but there is more to be had on the table for you, and I just feel like for some reason you're not allowing yourself to see it. So again, let this be that sign that you are ready to move forward, you're ready to take on a little bit more, and yeah. And if you are overwhelmed, if you're sitting there right now going, how the hell can I possibly fit in anymore, really have a look back and see what's actually not serving you, okay, and where you're allowing your energy to drain that's actually not giving you anything back. Let that go and you'll find yourself with ample time. Alright, so I hope that helps. forgot to tell you that last year you told me my selling agent didn't do a thing and was lying. Well, you were right. 3 months and nothing. Got a new agent and within 2 weeks sold. Yeah, nice. You know, it's funny. I was doing a reading a couple of days ago, and I kind of was trying to stress this same point. It's like that niggle feeling that's there, because it was like, yeah, no, something's not right here. And the person happened to mention, they went, yeah, you told me something about such and such, and I went, was I right? And they're like, yeah, and I'm like, yeah, and it's that niggle back feeling. Never ignore your niggle feeling, people. Hey, it's a, yeah, you just know what I'm talking about. That niggle, just like, yes, I did. So Sunday at 1:30 at Long Jetty. 1:30. I'm assuming that's when it starts. I'm just thinking maybe they've told me half an hour to get there half an hour early or anything else like that, but I assume they've given me the correct service time to start. But it is at the CWA Hall at Long Jetty. I can't think of the address right off the top of my head, but it is definitely the CWA Hall at Long Jetty. And it's nice. I haven't been to this church before. I hear that it's an absolutely beautiful crowd and a beautiful energy and a service there, so I'm really excited to be able to attend as guest medium. Stacey. I need some guidance, please, Liz. Alright, let's see if we can smash out some readings in the last 10 minutes. Stacey. Just looking at my earrings. I love the way energy works. It always makes me laugh. Okay, so you can see I'm shuffling your cards and my earrings caught in the light. Oh my god, my earrings. And so as I'm pulling your cards, you know, it's my energy, my behaviour as I tune into someone is generally reflective of what I'm reading, and so I just had to laugh because your first card out was procrastination. It was pretty much what I was doing as I was tuning into your energy. Procrastination, you got the cycles and you got the heartache. Okay, so I want to say to you, Stacey, that I always love delivering bright and beautiful news, but I'm always honoured to deliver the more challenging. And so procrastination, when I'm created this day, it's creating delays to avoid action. You know, it's things that we know have to change. It's things that we know are unsettled around us. It's things that, jobs and tasks that we know that we have to do to be able to get to a goal, to bring something to fruition, make changes that we need to, for whatever reason, generally fear, and the fear looks like a lot of different things, but when it cracks down to it, it is generally a fear, and we avoid actually taking action. And so just kind of sit back and have a look and see where your points of procrastination are, because cycles, you know, beginnings and endings are a natural order, and it's about just allowing yourself to have permission. Sometimes, you know, with that beautiful loyal energy that comes through with people, that loyalty also prevents them from looking after themselves sometimes and making changes, because they don't want to hurt the other person, and so they carry that hurt and pain for themselves, you know, while the other person gets to kind of balance. And it's not fair either way that someone has to be hurt, but you know, you've got to honour yourself. Otherwise, yeah. Anyway, I won't get into a big thing around that, but just absolutely allow yourself the acceptance and the peace that beginnings and endings are a natural order. With that comes some heartache, absolutely, you know, challenging matters of the heart. But, you know, I always say we have one life, and one day we will face the last moment in that life, and it may be, you know, awareness at that time, or it may become as a complete surprise or a complete shock. I don't know, you know, but what I do want to say is that in that moment of reflection, have a think about in that moment there, what would you regret the most? What would you wish that you had done, you know? And I know that's awfully deep and profound, and I don't necessarily need to take it that far, but what I'm trying to emphasize is, though, what's missing in your life, because one day this life is going to come to an end, and what is it that you've denied yourself by honouring others before yourself? Okay, so I know, again, a little bit deep and things like that, but I do hope that helps. That's where I'm connected with you this evening. So I hope that you can take that on board and that it is of service. All right. You know, I never, I'll keep it in a generic because I have seen a couple of comments through tonight as well. As far as relationships goes, is he the one? Is he not the one? That's absolutely not for any reader to tell you. That's my own stance morally and things like that. I get other people might disagree, and that's okay. But you know, I'll definitely give the insight and guidance for you to allow yourselves to make that decision for yourself. But the thing is, if you're even asking the question in the first place, you know what I mean? If you're with the person that makes you feel complete and secure and happy and you know, like you want to conquer the world, then you ain't going to be asking somebody, is this the person for me? And so if you're not feeling like that connected with someone and you're at the point where you're actually raising questions of like, oh, is this person right? It's time to kind of sit back and have a look at the truth in the question. You know what I mean? And I get it, that level goes in all different for people. It doesn't necessarily mean, oh, this relationship's crap or anything else, but it certainly means that if you're asking the question, the immediate answer at this point in time is at least no. You've got some shit to work out first, because that feeling comes from within your heart and within your soul, not from somebody else's lips. Alright, so yeah, just sort of take that on board. If it looks like a duck, walks like a duck, and quacks like a duck, it is a duck, not a swan. That motherfucker is quack, quack, quacking. Alright. Julie, I'm in need of a message, pretty please. This is my first time my granddaughter told me about you and how true you are. You know, it's funny, I was at the fair the other day, and when I finished the reading, someone went, oh, I love how you're authoritative you are in your readings, and I thought, yeah, I'm so... I didn't think I am, but sometimes if a point needs to be said and I'm really passionate about it, because I don't want someone walking out the room going, no, you need to know this, then maybe I am a little bit. But truthful, yes, to a fault. I remember when I was out here pregnant, single mum, I went and dubbed myself in at work for something that nobody would have ever known about, but I had to because I'd made a mistake, and yeah, he cried as he fired me. Living on $4 a fortnight after that. That was fun. Anyway, good times, good times. Alright, Julie. Let's go, let's go. Julie. There's always a theme, there's always an energy around, and I always say things for a reason when I'm channeling. So I just want to share with you, Julie, as I pull your cards, you've got the Crossroads card. Now, it talks about decisions and choices and directions, and you can see I've kind of created it. We're standing at that intersection. We can keep walking the same way, we can go left, we can go right, we can go backwards, or we can stand still, you know. And you've got the shit happens card. Is that the right way up? That way. You've got the shit happens card, okay, which just talks about in life that, I mean, we've all heard that saying, you know, shit happens. And it's not about saying that you've done something wrong or, you know, anything else like that. Just literally, sometimes in life shit happens, and letting go of what's no longer serving us. And I just feel like that resonating energy, as I do pull in cards with you with that, is that you've got this strong sense of loyalty and commitment. I almost feel like you're almost like a middleman, a peacemaker, you know, that kind of thing. You're the person that tries to make everything okay for everybody, even when that doesn't necessarily always align for yourself. And so just be mindful, make the choice that you need to make. Yeah, see, and shit happens, and you know what, that goes the same for other people as well. You know what I mean? Like I don't know, to use just a really silly example, you know, daughter wants to go to the local Westfield shops, and I've got work, and it's pissing down rain, and she doesn't want to catch a bus. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry, I've got work, you know, shit happens. You know what I mean? Shit happens. It's her awkwardness, but if she wants something, she's going to have to put in a bit more effort to try and get it. So don't feel necessarily bad about giving other people shit happens. You know, I feel like I was just saying, you're a respectful person, you're not doing this out of spite or like da-da-da-da-da. Find that place that settles within you, that gives yourself permission to honour yourself before others, okay? Letting go of what no longer serves, releasing those binds. This is, again, old energy, and sometimes this is silly things as well, like, when I say silly, they're generally not silly at all, but quite big and funny things, you know, like, I always use the funny examples of I want to learn to belly dance, or I want to join a local knitting circle, or I'd really like to have a nicer circle of friends, or have friends, you know, all of those things, and we've got to step ourselves out of the comfort zone to do that. And it's, it's like, shit happens. You're going to have to put in a bit of effort here to get what you want. So again, let it sit with you, let it roll around on your tongue, but I want to be excited in this. I feel good, I feel happy. You can see I've got a big smile on my face. And so when you allow that energy to shift around you, you've got the freedom card that comes in, and you've also got the new beginnings card that sits there, okay? It has a bubs on it, but a new beginnings is a bubs, so it's not necessarily a pregnancy prediction. And look, absolutely, as I've said several times, self-awareness and growth and all of those kind of bits and pieces, it is frustrating. Absolutely, it's frustrating. It's like, but you're secure in your choices. Be mindful where your intentions lay. Don't think that your goals are impossible, because they're not, but it's time to clear out the stable. You've got lots of support around you, so be mindful not to deny yourself. Don't listen to other people. Don't be afraid to take a chance. Make the commitment to move forward and stand strong, because you've got this. All right? So I hope all of that helps, Julie. Alright, where are we at? Ooh, we're at 1 hour. Okay, lucky last reading. So guys, as everyone starts to flick off and out, I will just quickly share that I am back next Friday evening. Looking forward to the live feeds again next Friday evening. And MBS is coming up on the 13th to the 16th of October. Long Jetty Church on Sunday at 1:30 p.m. CWA Hall at Long Jetty. So that's going to be really cool. And I'm pretty sure, it's uni on either side of MBS. I'm not missing any fairs, I don't think I am. But anyway, that's what's happening. You can absolutely book online. Go to my booking system. You can click book now, or go to my website, Soulful Creations. My website is out of date. Like everything's current and works and things like that, but the event list is there. So I do apologise. It's been a crapo year for keeping up with my admin. But anyway, let me do the last reading of the evening, and I shall see you all after that next Friday. Beautiful. Thank you, Stacey. You're very welcome. Sometimes it works, sometimes I click on the wrong thing. So you can click on anything. Oh, Memphis, are you still back around? Jesus, puzzle. I've hit onto Memphis's comments. She's not getting a reading. Keith, would love a bit of guidance if drawn, please, and thank you. I always try to do it so I can't see. It's like lucky last, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's a bit of a... takes a couple of goes sometimes. Alright, Keith, so again, guys, as everyone clicks out this evening, if you do like my page, you'll be informed when I go live. Always appreciate a like on the page, a share of the feed. A love heart or a thumbs up on your way out the door is always appreciated as well, better than a poke in the eye or a stick up the bum. But other than that, I hope you've enjoyed the evening tonight, and I will be back next Friday. So Keith, let me pull some cards for you. Nice, yeah, you got the healing card that sits there around you. I want to keep that card for you, and I feel like it's just that gentle reminder to keep doing the work that you're doing. I feel like you're aware that it takes a little bit of time. Yeah, nice. Okay, so I actually feel like there's a little bit of a spark that's there, and when I sit with that spark, what I'm actually feeling, it's like an idea, and this could be an idea around a new garden. You know what I mean? I don't necessarily want to say it's attached to money and like I see it as something green popping up in front of you. But anyway, I'll keep it as that. Okay, so I don't necessarily want to say this is business or anything else like that, but there's like an idea that's popping up around you. I want to say pay attention to it. It's almost like something that you've either been waiting to do in the background, or I've always wanted a hammock, or you know what I mean. I feel like this is something that's just fun and brings joy, and for whatever reason, peace and positiveness to you. So definitely connect in with it. I just want to sort of throw that message on the side, but I feel like on the flip side of that, it perhaps has been a little bit of a heavier week, even heavier of a couple of weeks. Things perhaps not sort of fallen into alignment as you'd hoped, especially in connection with others. So I just feel like I want to say to you, as I pull your cards, it's there again, just that gentle reminder that you're all good. Take in a moment, rest and gratitude are needed, and I know you understand what gratitude is. So looking at the big picture, beyond long-term self and moments, and that's the thing. Like if you're driving somewhere in a long distance, the bigger picture is the end goal. and stopping for fuel and having to wash the windscreen along the way may seem like frustrating, but they're necessary things that we have to do to actually get us to our final destination. And I feel like a bit of the energy that's around you is part of that. But just that gentle reminder that your goals are not impossible. You are catching the rainbow here, and that what you're doing and the effort that you're putting in, it's like, I don't say you're creating a legacy, but I feel like it's generational. It's not just about here and here, it's about for what comes after that, okay? And I just want to validate the beautiful energy that sits with that. So yeah, again, keep doing what you're doing. So I hope all of that helps. Keith, thank you very much for joining me this evening. A pleasure as always. And guys, as you all log off this evening, and as I do as well, remember I'll be back next Friday. Hope to see some of you at Long Jetty on Sunday. But other than that, be good. And if you can't be good at it.